Okay, we're live again. I interrupted you when you said you get really passionate about something, and I wish I hadn't. But have you expressed what you wanted to express?
Yes, I'm good. I just that's my thing is getting kids and moms back connected with nature in ways that are fueling their bodies, in ways that our gene pool understands. So that I think we've just begun to scratch the surface on what the fake world is doing to our bodies. That's pretty much, yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, what about say someone who's a parent who's got an 11-year-old kid or a 12-year-old kid, and they didn't know about any of this. They didn't know about the prenatal nutrition, about the
Right.
the osteopathic work they could have done on their
Mhm.
baby. They didn't breastfeed because they didn't know. Someone said you don't have to breastfeed, and now they've got a kid who's got crowded teeth. The upper jaw isn't properly grown. What can we do for those people? And also after that, maybe we can talk about what we can do for adults as well who've kind of
Sure.
missed out on all of this stuff, and what can they do?
Sure. So, whenever I start working with a child at that age, of course, it's a full history. I want to know what your special challenges are, where you're coming from. Um, Everybody presents a little bit different, but basically, these threads are true for the 11 and 12-year-old, and you have to remember that skeletally, they're practically complete. So you're almost dealing with an adult at that point. We wanted them when they were 5, 6, and 7, but we've got them when they're 11 and 12. So really, you're almost dealing with an adult at that point, except the fact that they are still growing in other places of their body, and they're a little more resilient sometimes than an adult. And so I like to always start with addressing inflammation. There will always be some type of underlying inflammatory something present because they've got breathing problems. There's usually a history in their childhood of some issue that they faced, whether it was ear problems, sinus problems, gastrointestinal problems. And so we begin to create a plan to address those specific challenges.
Mm.
They're usually rooted in inflammation. So we begin to deal with the diet, nutrition, matching circadian rhythms. So it's when it's dark, you get your eyes dark. When it's light, you get out in the sun. We start matching circadian rhythms so that those hormones can balance out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Parents don't realize that looking at the phone all the time, blue light tells the brain to wake up and cortisol to stay high. So if their 12-year-old is on their phone at night, they're not going to produce melatonin to be able to calm down and go to sleep. So those things are really important
Mm.
when you start talking about trying to make bone changes
Right.
in a child. You don't want to be fighting an uphill battle.
Okay.
And so hormonally, we want them regulated. Fascially, we want them regulated.
What does that mean?
Um, what was
Fascia.
that on?
What does that mean fascially?
Fascia. So their connective tissue.
Okay.
We want their connective tissue to be softer and pliable and not so rigid or hard. We want their bodies to be flexible and mobile and things like that. When you get into an inflammatory situation, it really does impact your connective tissue.
Okay. So
Yeah.
let's say you got all that right. You've got the circadian rhythms working properly, the kid's sleeping and waking up at the
All
right
right.
time. You've addressed the inflammation, you've addressed even the kids' interactions with nature, and they're off their
Yeah.
cell phones. How do you then get the bones to grow
So
at that
then
age?
you're at a place where you can begin, and I also do cranial nerve integration type work. So we get the two sides of the brain talking to each other, and we get the tongue up. We begin myofunctional therapy, and
Okay.
then an appliance is chosen. In our office, Dr. Fetzik primarily uses the ALF, which is the adjustable light force function wire.
He's your husband?
Um, yep.
Okay, so he's the
And
guy who had the extractions and been through the
yep,
whole thing, and he stopped doing
yep.
that. Okay.
Yep, and he wears an ALF right now,
Okay.
and he's getting amazing spaces.
Wow.
And yeah, and we couple that with the right cranial work and body work, either
Mm-hmm.
chiropractic or osteopathic work, fascia work, to get that allowing of movement to happen.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So for an 11-year-old, for a parent who's watching, if you've missed out on the breastfeeding and the prenatal nutrition and the osteopathic work, for a baby or a toddler, it's not too late. At 11, 12, even in their teens, Michelle, can you?
It's never too late, because
Okay.
I started my process at 46.
Okay.
And so it's never too late. And I would have never guessed in a million years I would have gotten the kind of cranial and facial changes that I got at age 46.
Wow.
I mean, just never in a million years I would have, and that wasn't even my goal. I mean, I basically went into treatment because I was just like, just make me look good so I can die in peace. And that's how hopeless things were for me.
Wow.
But then when the gentleman I was working with said, you need to do something about that swallow, boy, things just began to fall into place really fast for me. And then once that happened, and of course, I had an amazing chiropractor who helped and did wonderful cranial work on me.
Mm-hmm.
I would have never imagined I would have gotten those changes. So, really, the process is the same for anyone. You're going to address inflammation, you're going to address your general health and environment, you're going to get good cranial work, you're going to work with a good myofunctional therapist, get your cranial nerve integration and reflex restoration going so you can actually go back and take someone back to suck, swallow, breathe and rebuild them reflexively to add to their neurological resilience so they can come back in to, I guess an emerging, they can emerge into who they are
Okay.
through all of these things.
And what kind of a practitioner or initials should they look for in their local area when they're looking for a person to say help their kid or help themselves or help their teenager, or get back into
I've
shape?
gotten away from my actually saying, okay, this is the kind of certification that you need, because what I've learned is that people practice in different ways.
Okay.
So what I recommend is a consultation. You get your paradigm, what you're looking for, and find someone you can trust.
Okay.
And so get them to take you through these things, to work with your diet and your nutrition, to work with your environment, to work with your reflexes,
Mm-hmm.
to work with your musculature, and find somebody who can put you in a good appliance, and then get you into the hands of someone who can do the body work and the cranial work,
Okay.
and put that picture together, and then the magic happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you recommend the Alpha appliance, which is a light wire. I'll just
I,
tell the
I,
parents.
I like the ALF. It's a cranial unwinding appliance, and so it actually goes in and works with the strain patterns that have been kind of, solidified into your expression for all these years, and
Yeah.
kind of begins to release that. So it's a genetic expression advice. It's an epigenetic signaling appliance.
Help someone
And
grow.
yeah, it's
Okay.
so it really helps change the cranial sutures and relieve these strain patterns.
Okay. Okay. Um, I think the one thing you said that really kind of made something that will help people listening is it's not too late. It's
Oh,
never
it's
too
never too
late.
late. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's never too late. But you,
Okay.
you have to understand, that the older you are, the bigger your onion.
Yeah.
So when you start peeling that onion, you have to be willing to peel it and ride the bull, so to speak. You
Okay.
you ride it or you get thrown.
Yeah.
And you're riding to win. And you just have to keep riding it. I mean, there's even still things that I do to uh, relieve and peel away the compensations that I have.
Like what?
Like, for example, I started off and did myofunctional therapy. I had the orthodontic or appliances, and even now I get regular body work, and then I went back and did a lot of reflex integration work. and that helped get rid of a lot of muscular compensations in my body.
Okay.
And so I continue to work on it.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else you wanna share with these parents and teens and just adults who've had retractive and extractive orthodontic work done?
Yeah, I get a lot of emails about, sorry, my dog's
No
barking.
problem.
Um,
It's all good.
uh, it's real, right? Um, that I get a lot of emails, especially from adults,
Yeah.
and I just always tell them the same thing: address inflammation, address your environment, um, find a myofunctional therapist that you can trust, do some reflex integration work, get someone who can put you in an appliance that matches with your body, and get in the hands of a good chiropractor
Okay.
that understands these relationships.
And that appliance that they would use is
Yeah,
an
the
orthodontist would do that?
yeah, it could
Okay.
be, it could be an ALF practitioner.
Okay.
There's other ones that use, the DNA or
Yeah.
MNRA or
Yeah.
orthotropics or all of those.
Cool.
It's really about finding someone that you trust and
Okay.
is willing to explain their philosophy and
Yeah.
see if it resonates with you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you so much.
you're
What's your
welcome.
website in case parents want to go and look it up?
Yeah, it's happykansasfaces.com.
Cool. HappyKansasFaces.com.
You got it.
Thank you so much for your time, Michelle. I know you have an
Yep.
appointment right now.
Yep. Thank you so much,
All
Omar.
the best.
Okay,
Bye
take
bye.
care.
You too.